Welcome to our training this Thursday. I'm excited to see those of you that are on, and I'm excited for our topic today. But first, I want to ask anybody to think about if they have had any type of coaching victories this last week. A client they're super excited for, something they've been able to get over a limiting belief or something that they're working on that they've made progress with. Something like that. Does anybody have something exciting that they want to share about coaching, about what has made coaching fun for them this week? I'll go ahead and share first while you guys are thinking. So one thing that I love is that I have some coaches who are coaching their first coaches, which is exciting to be able to, which kind of prompted the topic today a little bit as well. But I think it's so exciting to watch people learn and that's the same with clients. Like, that is something that makes health coaching exciting for me, when they learn something, when they grasp something in a new way that they hadn't thought of before. And it kind of gives some excitement for them, and it makes me excited too as a health coach. So that's been amazing this past week to see a few of my clients and clients who've become coaches now to, in different stages of their journey, to get that excitement because they learned something new, or they had an aha moment. Those are really fun. Does anybody else have something they want to share? Some type of non-rank victory, some type of victory that they're excited about, or something that helped them to have fun with coaching this week?
Alina, client.
Who's saying that?
Oh, Lindsay.
Hi. Oh, Lindsay. Hi, Lindsay. Go ahead and share.
I got my first client this week.
Oh, yay! That's exciting. When you hear them say yes, then you're like, really? Awesome. And then you can dig in. That's great. Congratulations. Cami, did you have something you wanted to say too?
I was just going to brag about Lindsay, but then also about Nicole, who's on here. She got her first 2 clients this week, so super fun. Let me get my kids settled, and then I'll talk more.
I love getting first clients and getting new clients and having people say yes to their health and yes to trying the program, and it takes a leap of faith. So it's exciting when they realize that value and are excited about it. That's great. Okay, well, unless somebody else has something else that they're dying to share, we'll dig into our training today, which is going to be about, it's going to be really helpful for coaches and new coaches, because we want to talk about what it's like to build our teams. So sometimes, what you might be starting out as a new coach, and this may seem far off in the distance, but sometimes one of your clients will get excited and want to coach, and then you're like, whoa, I don't know what to do. What do I do? So that's what we're going to talk about today. So first of all, I want to talk about, as you have clients, the reason why coaching is amazing. We know for our own lives that it helps us to be more integrated with Optavia, as a client. It helps us to be more integrated. It helps us work on personal development. It helps us to, overcome limiting beliefs, not only with, our business as we try to grow that, but also, on our health journey as we're continuing on to stay healthy ourselves, and to learn how to be better servants to others, to serve others even more, and love others more, and listen to others more. And it gives us so many of those social skills too, and internal thought work that we get to improve upon. So of course we want this for everybody else, right? So especially when we have clients that are learning about Optavia and focused on their health, and we have the trilogy of health. We want them to be healthy physically, mentally, and financially. And so because coaching has such a great is such a great part of that and is such an asset to people working on that trilogy of health, we of course would love our clients to partake of that as well. So when we have clients, it becomes just like with people that we talk to about the program, and we kind of plant seeds and maybe talk about it. Sometimes they need to think it over a little bit. Sometimes they're just ready and they're like, yes, I need to get healthy. I want to try your program. But the same thing with coaching. So, you know, planting seeds, learning how to just talk about it just very casually in a casual way. And one thing you can do is even at the very beginning in the explore call that you do is, you know, you can bring up the that if there's a question on the script that says, is there anybody else that you know that would like to get healthy with you? And at that point, if they are listing off people that are lining up to do whatever they choose to do, they must be some type of trendsetter, or they have influence over them, or they have family members. Then, you know, that's a great time to say to plant coaching for the first time. Just say, you know, you are more successful with your own journey. It's such a good help when you're helping somebody else. And would you like to explore the possibility of coaching some people with me? And that helps them to feel like, oh, I'm not, all of a sudden I have to do everything. Like, I don't know enough, you know. It's like, oh, you just do it with me. Like, it's, you know, and I help you the whole way. Like, and so, you know, then maybe they're open to exploring that option if they're going to be having their friends ask them all the questions anyway. So you kind of talk to them about that. And if they say, no, not right now, that's totally fine. Like, there's no pressure whatsoever. It's just an offering. And then another thing you can do, like, well, if people are, you know, commenting on New Healthy Me, you know, and you can, or sorry, is that everyone's coaching group here? Okay, I'm like, wait, different teams. So if they're on the Facebook page and they're commenting and, you know, posting and encouraging others, that's obviously, you know, some signs that maybe they might make a good coach. But just encouraging them to share and not and to, you know, help others in their lives and strengthen their support community that way, and participate in our support community that we have in our group with New Healthy Me and different things like that, can help them to see that maybe they can do this kind of coaching thing too. Should they, you know, want to start looking into that. And so those are some things, like, just with clients. Plus, that's one reason why tip calls, celebration calls are so important, because then, you know, somebody else on one of your mentors can, you know, maybe mention that. And if they hear that from somebody else, you know, from a couple of people saying, hey, you know, you could look into this, then maybe it'll give them more confidence to ask more questions about it. There was one more thing I wanted to say, and then I wanted to throw it over to Cami about coaching. So I wanted to share my experience. So my coach, I didn't really know her. My husband knew her. She was a friend of his. And when I was first introduced to our program, and one thing that I started doing the Meltdown Challenge at the same time that I started the program, and I was one of those people that was commenting and cheering others on and participating. I was not thinking of health coaching at all. And in fact, she actually mentioned to my husband that you know, that I'm going to make a good coach someday. And I thought to myself, what? Like, that was such an absurd idea. I hadn't even thought of it. It never had crossed my mind. Like, it was so crazy to me. But just her saying that, even somebody who only knew me a tiny bit, you know, we had just barely started getting to know each other, thought that I could make a good health coach, even though I totally dismissed it. I totally said, no, no, no. The thought stayed in my mind. And over the months, you know, it crept back in. And it was, I started the program in January. And it wasn't until August of that year that I decided to coach. And so she had made that comment clear in January. And so, but it really kind of stuck with me to where I felt like somebody had confidence in me that I could do it. And just from that one comment. And so that gave me the confidence to ask about it and pursue it. And so, anyway, that was just my story. So it never hurts to offer it. It never hurts to compliment someone and say, you make a great coach. You know, it never hurts to do that. I'm going to turn the time over to Cami for a little while because she's going to talk to us about maybe talking to people who aren't clients, you know, and trying to have what we call coaching goggles on so that we're, you know, always open to and finding the opportunities that come our way to share with others. Go ahead, Cami.
Okay. And I promise I'm somewhere where I won't be interrupted by a noisy 3-year-old. I think what Alina just said is so powerful because I have a couple coaches on the call today, and they've come mostly from being clients and then transitioning to a coach. But Amber signed up to be a coach, I believe, the same time she's, if I remember right, to be a client. And I've had some great success when we talk about our coaching goggles of finding people and keeping them or adding them as coaches, even though they weren't clients first. And that's kind of how my story was. I wish Liz was on because Liz never approached me as someone to be a potential client. Her husband, Ryan, actually approached my husband and just approached us with, like you said, the coaching goggles. And he just, he started planting the seed with my husband. And I signed up to be a client and a coach on the exact same day. So I just kind of took that leap of faith. But one thing that all of us can do as far as action steps is, and maybe we can take ourselves off mute and kind of have just a little bit of a discussion for it, those that are interested. What qualities do we look for in a coach? Who are like, what are some qualities of people that we want to work with? Because that's the joy of this business, right? As a health coach, you get to choose who you work with. And I remember going to my very first convention, and those that know Chantel Assumption, or Chantel Flake, sorry, they're all Assumptions, but she had all of her mom and her sisters all there with her as coaches. And I remember her saying, it's so awesome, I get to pick who I want to work with. So if you have anything that you think of, who are the types of people that you would want to surround yourself around, like be around as a health coach? Anyone have ideas on that? Just characteristics or traits of people that you're drawn to.
I can share.
Uh-huh.
So I think that people who are positive and people who are, not that you can't become more positive, I think coaching has helped me with that, but people who are like outgoing and friendly and like Alina said, like cheering people on, that's a good, quality to have. It's already naturally doing that, and that's just their tendency, is to like be excited and be social and be in the community and be part of a team, because then they're going to be fun to be, on our coaching team as well, and I can learn from them, and we can kind of buoy each other up.
Yeah, I love that. What other qualities do we look for? Maybe especially for people who aren't clients already. If you're like scrolling your Facebook feed, what are some things that you look for that might jump out at you and say, oh, they would make you think of them?
I think, can you hear me, Cami?
Yeah, yep.
I think about the quality of people that make me want to be a better person, that like when I feel inspired after I've been with them or talked with them, and I just feel like they fill my cup up. And that's how I think that I was like, okay, I'm going to coach. Cami believes in me. Like, I'm going to coach. I can do this. I hope that by looking for people that have that quality, and surrounding myself with people that make me feel like I can be better, like I want to be better, that's going to be, I'm going to pay that forward to someone, whether I'm coaching them or saying, hey, you could coach too.
Mm-hmm. No, I love that. And I can use Nicole as a great example, because one thing that when you go to trainings and things, especially like when we were at Go Global, Alina and I were there, and they said, make a list of 100 people that for your coaching, not as clients. Make a list of 100 people that you want to share coaching with. And Nicole and her husband have been on my coaching list for, I bet, like a year. And they didn't even know it. And it was just because I watched them at basketball games and things. And I just sensed how much they loved being around people. They just had such a joy for being around and serving people. And they didn't even know that I knew that. Like, they didn't know that I'd noticed. And so they were on my list of people for quite some time. But there's a couple things. So one, make a list of qualities that you want to have in coaches on your team. And then make a list of people. So go through your contact, go through your friend list. Nicole, I'm going to have you mute yourself just as you walk around.
Sorry, am I moving? I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I didn't want an incident like I had earlier. No, make a list of those people that you want to have on your team and you want around you. And that could be anyone. So when we say put the coaching goggles on, don't prejudge anyone. Don't say, oh, they're too busy, or, oh, they have enough money, they'll be fine, or, oh, they don't have any weight to lose, so they wouldn't have a story. Like, don't prejudge anyone. Just go through and find people that you want to work with, that you are inspired by, that you feel like they could help other people. And here's where the scary part comes. And I've done this a couple times, and every time I've done it, it's worked out well. Call that person up. And for those that are religious and believe in that, say a prayer before you call and pray that you'll know how you can help this person, that you can say, do you know what? I really feel strongly that I need to talk to this person. I don't really know why. Please help me to know how I can help them. And when you go in and talk to someone with that real intent of, hey, you've been on my heart, or you've been on my mind. I'm not exactly sure why, but can I share with you what I do as a health coach? I've never had anyone turn me down when I approach it that way. And they've not all said yes. There's a lot that have said no. But quite a few times I share coaching, and they might not be ready to coach yet, but they become clients. And they need that time, like Alina said, to develop and to gain that confidence to become a coach. And it takes time. So I would just really encourage you guys to really put those coaching goggles on. And when you scroll through Facebook, it's really easy to lose our time, right? And to use time and lose track of time. But, you know, if you see that someone on Facebook is saying that they're looking for a job, or that they're tired of their job, or that they have such a passion for helping people, or that they're looking for health, or they're interested in health, those are all kind of flags that you can look at and be like, oh, well, I have something that I could help them with. I have a tool that could help. And we call it, I've heard Amber and Jared, and I think Kat and John Fuller have used the term dating them on Facebook, or courting them on Facebook. You find someone that you are like, dang, I want to work with them, or I know that they're going to be a great coach, or they could be. Do you message them right away and say, hey, do you want to be a health coach? Probably not the best idea. You need to plant seeds and, you know, start making comments on their posts, and start following up with them, and maybe just start a conversation with them and say, hey, you know, you've been on my mind. I love seeing your posts. You're just so inspiring. Thank you for being so inspiring, or something like that. And, you know, as you develop that conversation, they develop trust with you, and then it will come up naturally in a conversation. So you're not pushing it and not being like that pushy, salesy that we don't want to be. You're just creating genuine conversations with it, which I love. So, Alina, is there anything else I missed from that? Is there that we talked about?
Well, I think you did a great job. Thank you so much, Cami. Yeah, it doesn't have to be awkward. That's the thing, is sometimes we feel uncomfortable or awkward, or we're like, I don't know if I could ever do that. I don't know if I could ever approach somebody about asking if they wanted to look into health coaching, you know, and it has everything to do with what Cami said. And, you know, and clients are like, it has everything to do with Cami said. Have a genuine desire in your heart to help them, you know, and find out what their needs are. And that's why you start with asking questions. Hi, how are you? You know, get to know them, find out what's going on in their lives, find out, you know, read their Facebook posts and say, oh, I saw you just went on a vacation. You know, I mean, you have things that you can talk to and develop that relationship. And there will be times where it comes up. So for me, for example, like, this happened to be one of my new clients, but her husband is military and he's about to retire. They're still very young, but he's just retiring from military. So he needs to find something else to do. And he doesn't know what, but he is athletic and he is healthy. His wife just started the program. So when I was talking to her, oh, that's, you know, your husband is, you know, getting ready to retire. She had said that. And I was like, what is he going to do next? What is he like? You know? And she just started talking and telling me, and I just asked some questions. And then I offered, or I said, you know, that sounds like, you know, it might be something that he might want to look into, health coaching. Would you, you know, would the two of you be interested in exploring what that might look like? We have a lot of husband and wife teams that do that as well. And she was interested in that because she was wanting to like get back to doing something. So anyway, so I mean, I haven't had that conversation. He's going to El Salvador for 2 weeks for his last mission or whatever. But when he comes back, we're going to have that conversation. So you know, it's just asking questions.
Alina, one thing, can I just add really quick?
Yeah.
So I don't know why I just thought of this, but just yesterday I was able to do this. I have another girl that coaches basketball with me at the high school, and she has just a love to help people. She's always offering to stay after practice with the girls. She's, you know, still fairly young, and she's just married and doesn't have kids, and she just started a brand new job. And I really have been thinking of her a ton lately. And so this is a great example. I just sent her a text and I said, hey, I don't know, this might be stretching out on a limb, but I care about you. I know that you know what I do as a health coach. And I just can't help but think that you would be amazing as a health coach too. Would you ever want to explore health coaching? And because I have that trust with her, I've known her now for, you know, 6.5 years. It's not like a brand new relationship. She knows what I do. She's seen my clients. She's seen my coach, or like the posts on Facebook. So in a situation like that, using the term explore health coaching, like Alina said, that doesn't put pressure on them. It's like, oh yeah, I could explore that, because that doesn't mean I have to commit right away. And so I am setting up an explore call with this friend of mine, and it might not work out, but then she'll have a better understanding of what I do. So when her friends ask her, she can say, oh no, Cami doesn't do a diet. Like, she does this, and she could help you. Like, it gives her the knowledge then to share it. So it might not be the immediate seed that you're planting that comes and like gives you all these like amazing results, but it could be like 3 or 4 word, like different people down the road from that first seed. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Cami.
Yeah.
And I know there's a lot of great examples that we could share of ways that we had somebody on our mind, or we were praying how to approach this person and didn't really know, and just kind of waited, and when an opportunity came, then, you know, we were prepared. It wasn't awkward because it had already been on our mind. It's like what we've talked about in a lot of like Tuesday 20 trainings, and some of the trainings that Chantel has done recently, and just different things of like what you're focused on, what you're looking at, you're going to recognize the opportunities to have that present itself. So anyway, that's awesome. So what if you have somebody that says, yes, I want to explore that? That's when you set up an explore coaching call with your mentor. And you let the mentor, you introduce your friend to your mentor, and mentor to your friend, and then they take over the call and start asking them questions. They'll probably ask them about, you know, why they want to become a coach, like what are they looking for, and, you know, get to know them a little, and then present about coaching and let them ask questions and that sort of thing. So what if somebody says, yes, I want to become a coach? Well, I want to share my screen with you really quickly. Let's see. Oops, sorry. I'm getting this share screen thing happening. Okay, so we, if you don't know how to access Simple Systems, ask your health coach or ask your mentor. Sometimes we don't want to bombard new coaches with so much info, so we usually wait till people have a few clients and have had a little experience before we send them the access to this, because there's like 100 links on there and you could get lost. So, but when, if you're familiar with this and you have some clients down and, some clients that you're helping, there is a place on here that says new coach checklist. And that helps for you to be able to send that information bit by bit to your new coach so that they can check that off on what they're doing. There's also building your team by offering coaching on there, and so it talks more about what Cami and I have been saying today, and I'm sure there's other tips and things on there, so that would be good to watch if you want some extra training on how to offer coaching and follow up with people you've offered to. The first thing, I would say the first thing you do is after you've had your Explore call and they say yes, you have them get their coaching kit and learn how to share their story. And basically to do that, you just say, okay, like say 3 things that were really bothering you before and 3 things that, improving your health has helped you or, with. For someone who has a weight loss story, for somebody who's interested in health, they can say, hey, you know what, health has been important to me because I have a lot of diabetes in my family and I see family people that suffer and I want to do my part to help. And that can be their story. That's, you know what I mean? So whatever it is, but to learn how to share their story and then set up a meet and greet with your team. So like your coach, your coach's coach, Liz Jensen is always on that as well. So you want to do a meet and greet. That's so that they can meet the team and practice sharing their story to the other people in the team and meet the people who are going to be doing practice calls with them, because that new coach is going to want to start setting up practice calls right away. And so we all know what practice calls are. It's when, you find, you contact, a handful of people at first. You can contact more. You can do this as many times as you need to, but contact a handful of people and ask them if, tell them that you've been getting healthy, you're excited to become a health coach, and part of your training is to listen to your mentor, like ask questions to people, do a health assessment with them, and then also share the program. And so it would help you out to listen in on those so that you could learn how to do it and be a good health coach too. And would this person be willing to help you be one of those practice calls? So that's no pressure for them, because it's like, oh, you're just practicing and you just need to hear this. You just need a person there. Okay. And so setting those up right away and having the people that are on the meet and greet, that's their support team for that new coach. You'll have a chat thread in Facebook set up so that you can start scheduling, practice calls so that they can listen to multiple people, do a health assessment, and kind of get their own groove. After they've listened to a few, then they can start doing parts of it, and then they can start doing it on their own with somebody still listening to help give them feedback after the fact. And then when they're comfortable and confident, they can, down the road, they can start doing it on their own. But helping them prepare their story, having a meet and greet and sharing their story, then setting up practice calls, those are the first things that you want them to get started on doing once they've decided to become a coach and order their kit as part of that too. So that is kind of the baby steps to offering coaching, looking for those that it could help, and then setting up an Explore call, and then the first steps to help them in just that first week when they're first getting started. We are almost out of time. So Cami, do you have anything else you wanted to add? Or does anybody have any questions they wanted to ask in the last 5 minutes or so that we've got?
I just wanted to mention something that Liz had said that kind of stood out to me which was, you know, to be proud of what we do. And that's something that I'm working on. I'm trying to find that balance of, you know, this is a part of me and I'm not afraid to talk about it with people, and, you know, not have that fear of, oh, they're just trying to, you know, sell me or whatever. Like, I'm, you know, it's a process getting past that with sharing the program, but also with coaching too. And, you know, not being afraid, not hiding, you know, what we're doing from other people. And she had mentioned that she, was talking, you know, doing client check-in calls, you know, in public, and somebody overheard her, you know, talking to her clients, and then they approached her, you know, afterwards and said, what are you doing? And they were looking for something like that to do, you know, health coaching. And so I hadn't ever thought of it that way before. In my mind, I was like, oh, okay, that gives, you know, a good reason for why, you know, again, why we don't hide it, why we don't do it all in secret necessarily, because we're worried about what people think or something. And maybe that's just me, but that's one of my concepts that I have to move past. But I thought it was awesome because it's true, and we live out loud, and when people see what we're doing, then they're like, oh, I could do that. And, you know, they become curious, maybe want to ask questions.
That's so true. That's so true. Yeah, living out loud is a huge thing, because people feel closer to you when you do that, because you're letting them into your life. And part of our life is being a health coach. And, you know, it would be a disservice to not share that, because it's a great part of our life. And so, yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. One other thing, I briefly had it up here, but there's a welcome email that a coach gets as soon as they order their kit, but we recommend sending it to them anyway, just in case the company forgets to, because sometimes, I don't know if it's a forgetting thing or if it's just a glitch, but sometimes they don't get it regularly, so it's always good if you send it to them. And there's a great video on there, and it talks a lot about, you know, what we do to share our program, you know, being a health coach. It's, and it's like 20 minutes, I think, but it's really well done and gives them a great insight to what they've gotten themselves into, in a very positive way. And then it just welcomes them and everything. So you'll definitely want to, if you haven't watched that video, it'd be good to watch so that you can just see what it is, and so that when you're sending it to people when you do have coaches on your team, then you know what it is. And also like a refresher for yourself too, to say, okay, what is all this stuff? So does anybody else have any questions or anything about any of this?
Alina, the only thing I thought of is, while you were talking, just for those that are brand new, if you're not super familiar with what a share call might be, just to reach out and ask Alina or myself or Liz. And essentially a share call is like, or an explore call, I think is what Alina called it.
Coaching.
Yeah, it's like just exploring coaching, but it's really simple. It's not anything to be scared of. It's just kind of like when you're doing a health assessment with someone that's potentially wanting to be a client, but we do it from the health coaching standpoint. So there's, it's just, I just don't want anyone to be overwhelmed by the term explore call if you've never heard it before.
Yeah, and that's why I said, you know, you pretty much sit back and let your mentor coach do that. You just introduce at the beginning, and then, you know,
Yeah.
so it's easy, no scariness there.
And the funny thing is I've been a coach for almost 6 years, and just this spring I did an explore call, and Liz was on there with me. Like, even after being a coach for this long. So I've joked around, like, how long do we hold their hand? Like that holding hand kind of, like, still after 6 years, Liz holds my hand. So, like, don't be afraid to ask for help, because we're all in this, like, doing it together. And you're not expected to be able to do it all alone. It's better if we have more people involved in it.
Absolutely. You know, when you said that, I had the visual of, like, when you first said, how long do we hold their hand? And it was like, you know, holding a child's hand. And then the visual switched in my mind to a group of people holding hands in a circle. And that's what we do. That's what we do as health coaches. That's what our team is all about. And so I appreciate all of you guys being on here. I encourage you to, start thinking about those people, having those coaching goggles on, writing their names down, praying for them, praying about them, finding out what's going on in their lives, strengthening that relationship with them. And those opportunities will come, where either you'll be able to help them with something totally random that you weren't expecting, or, it might be a good fit to explore coaching with them. So anyway, you guys are amazing. Have a good rest of your week. And we'll be back, not next week. I'm not sure when the next Thursday training is that we'll have. I think in July, I think we're going to do one. So, but anyway, enjoy your summer. And we'll meet again in a few more weeks.
Okay, thanks,
Thank
Alina.
you.
Okay, bye. Thanks,
Thanks,
everyone.
guys.